welcome back to the State of the WIP Part 2. It is 1 week later for you and about 20 minutes later for me. Let's just keep trucking, keep trucking. We're gonna go through all the stuff behind me. Okay, well, some of the stuff behind... We've been through this box. We did that last week. So if you want to see that video, you can look probably up here. Yeah, info cards. I know how to do those. Future editing Diana. Yeah? Okay. But we are going to go through the repair basket. I don't think there's any projects in here. I think it's just yarn. I think we can go through it real quick. And that tin is just leftover bits and bobs of yarn that aren't even really enough for minis, to be honest. like 5 grams of yarn. And then there's some spinning stuff back there too. So oh, and then there's like some sewing in the drawers. I think there might be some cross stitch. So we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna go through all the stuff. And yeah, we're gonna go through the stuff. Let's go through the stuff. Okay, repair basket that my hair is already attached to. We're off to a great start. I got this basket at a fiber festival somewhere, probably the Manitoba Fiber Festival, because I can't imagine that I flew with this from Knit City. It's from Big Blue Mama, who is in Calgary, Alberta, apparently. Anyway, it's a fantastic basket. I love this basket a lot. I would like it to be empty so that I could put yarn in it. Okay, basket. What is in the repair basket? We have a sad store-bought hat. Which is to say, it's a perfectly fine store-bought hat, just the pom-pom is, like, deceased. This is a deceased pom-pom. I need to sew this closed and reattach it to the hat better. That is the only reason this is in here is because of a partially deceased pom-pom. It has been in there at least 2 years. Definitely did not fix it last winter. That might have been in there a winter before that. So that's cool. We've got... Oh, hey! Let's turn this right side around so you can actually see. This is not a knitting project. It's a NASA shirt that has reversible sequins to make the space shuttle. Yeah! It's a fantastic shirt. It has a magical hole in one of the sides. Yes. It had a laundry accident and there's a small hole in one of the sides that you can't even see. Honestly, I could probably just throw this back in rotation and be fine. There's a teeny tiny hole right there that I wanted to sew up, which is the only reason this is in here. Literally the only reason. I honestly might forego fixing that ridiculously tiny hole and just put this back in rotation. What else? Oh hey, there's a pair of socks in here! This is my first ever pair of handmade socks. I have not worn them in years. They have been living in this repair basket. They don't even legitimately have a hole, as I recall. No, I'm being so precious about them. They don't even actually have holes yet. They have a slight thin spot. You can't even see it. There's a slight thin spot on the heel of one sock. And this other heel is totally fine. Oh, there's like a thin spot along the side that you also can't... Oh, there, you can kind of see it. Yeah. So I was obviously being very precious about my first ever hand knit pair of socks. That's not even a thin spot. That's just I had laddering because I did these on double pointed needles. It's not even... There's a slight thin spot on one of the heels. Wow. Okay, you know what? I'm actually just gonna... I'm gonna wash these and put them in my drawer with the other socks. Because obviously I'm not getting around to fixing them when they just have a slight thin spot. But I even had the yarn in there too, like I have the rest of the yarn. Oh my god. Wow. That's cool. So hey, we're emptying the repair basket by going, that doesn't actually need a repair, that's fine. Okay, this is actually the last thing in the repair basket, and it is a fun alpaca colorwork sweater that I got as a Christmas present a few years ago. But I keep finding dropped stitches in it that I have to fix. And, I'd found one at one point. Did I put like a stitch marker in it so that I could actually see where it is? So that I could find it to fix it? No. No, I did not. So there was evidently a problem with this sweater somewhere that I saw once. But I can't find it. So, I'm also just going to casually put that into rotation until such a time as I find the actual problem that I put it in there for. So sweet, I got a new sweater. It's a store-bought sweater, it's not a handmade sweater. Or maybe it is a handmade sweater, but it was bought at a store. I don't know. So I only have one thing in my repair basket now, and it is the slightly deceased pom-pom. So if I sew up this one pom-pom, I get to check off a square on my bingo card for having an empty WIP basket, because I'm just putting things back in rotation. Yeah! It doesn't actually need repaired, she said with great confidence. Throw that stuff over there. Look at that nice empty basket. Solving problems. Okay, cool. What else we got back here? I believe... Crinkle, crinkle. Let's get this out of the way. What is this? Worsted weight yarn ends. It's worsted weight yarn ends. I've got some leftovers from my flax. I don't know what this is left over from. Oh, you know what? This is probably the Cascade 220 that I did my Rivers wrap out of. Yes, that makes sense. That's what that gray is, and the red, and the green. Okay, so this is worsted weight ends. This is also worsted weight ends. Yep, worsted weight ends. Crinkle, crinkle. Sorry about that. This is chunky ends. I don't even know where I got this. This green chunky, it's lovely. I think I'd intended to combine it with some of the white roving that I have in that corner over there. And I was gonna make some nice thrummed mittens for myself. Oh, is this the ball band for this? No, it is not. It is the ball band for this gray stuff that is left over from when I made a bunch of thrummed mittens for Christmas presents one year, which is probably the first and last time that I successfully made mittens, because you know what? I didn't try to modify the pattern. I just followed the dang pattern, and it worked great. Because the time that I tried to do it without following a pattern, I got a child-sized glove, which I still have, and I didn't want to pull apart, because this alpaca, I did this out of, like, practically roving alpaca, and it just doesn't frog. It falls apart. So that mitten is just how it is. Maybe it's a decoration. Maybe it's a decorative mitten. Oh, yeah, look at that. I made myself a lovely cowl out of this chunky brown alpaca at one point. This is the stuff that... It was so weird. Every time Mr. B, which is Mr. Diana's brother, was in the room, this stuff would just fall apart in my hands. Like, I would just be knitting with it perfectly, and it would just disintegrate in my hands when he was in the room. But if he was not in the room, I could just yank on this stuff so hard and it would not come apart. It was the weirdest thing that Mr. B made this stuff fall apart. So, yeah, so that's a bag of chunky ends that I absolutely have enough to make a pair of mittens for myself. Why have I not done this yet? It's even on my bingo card. I even have a whole bag of white roving for the express purpose of making thrums. So that's going to go in the bag with those ends, and then it's going to become thrummed mittens. What is this? This is also a slightly chunky end of black. I have absolutely no idea what that's from, but that's going to go in the bag of chunky ends. Oh, my little baby swatch! My little baby swatch from the Yomei. That's cool. What do y'all do with your swatches, by the way? Especially if you make, like, stupid little baby swatches like this. Like, what do you do with this? I have so many of these. And I just end up stuffing them into bags, and I find them years later, and I'm like, oh, cool. And then I stuff it back in a different bag. Like, is that what we do with them? They're just, like, bag stuffing? I don't know. Oh, these. These are left over from a scarf that I made for my mom. Can you see it? Can you sense a color theme for my mom? It was a giant cabled scarf with a hood, and I got these great ceramic buttons that had even a cable, like a knit cable texture on them, because this scarf had pockets at the bottom. Anyway, she loves this scarf. It comes out every winter. She wears it all winter long. She likes it for driving because it's long enough that it covers her knees, which is very important when it goes down to -40. And she gets lots of compliments on it. And so, yes. So these are left over from that. I feel like I still have quite a lot of this. Like, I should make something out of this. But I don't know what. If you have ideas for this, like, marled yarn, it's in two slightly different colorways. I believe it's 100% acrylic. There's one that's more of a gold red kind of a thing, and then one that's more of a gold bronze kind of a thing. Brown bronze. So one's slightly lighter than the other. This one's almost got like purple hues, and this one's more like green red. Anyway. Oh wow, why do I have so many empty plastic bags? Oh hey look! I think one time that I actually have labeled a color from a project that's done. Hey, what's this? What is this? It's a screw. I found a screw. This is alarming to me. It is a very solid screw. I don't know what this is from. I'm gonna put that aside. That might be important. Let's see, another little baby swatch from the Comfort Fade. And another little baby swatch from the Comfort Fade. And, oh, another little baby swatch from the Comfort Fade. It's a ball band for the leftover yarn from the Comfort Fade. And, oh, hey, look, more chunky ends. Chunky gray, and it's gonna go in the bag of chunky gray. Okay, why? I have just so many plastic bags. Why? Anyway, I have an empty bag labeled B. I have an empty bag labeled D. I have a crinkle crinkle now empty bag labeled A. And a now empty bag labeled C. So I think this solves my the problems with the Stephen West knit along, the shawlography. Shawlography, where I have all the different colors, although I could also solve the problem of the other Stephen West, the Moherino medley. I'm going to solve one of my Stephen West problems now that I have all of these labeled bags. Anyway, I have a bunch of DK yarn left over from the Comfort Fade. I think this is a full skein of gray. This is a third, maybe, of... I think this is also the gray. It just came out lighter for whatever reason. This looks to be a full skein of pink and white, a partial skein of pink and white, and a partial skein of, or partial ball of just pink. And a partial ball of, oh dear, it's coming apart from both ends. Oh no. Oh no, we're gonna wind that real quick. Oh no, oh no, 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 no. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Okay, we're good, we're good. I honestly might have enough for another sweater here. Oh, interesting. Interesting. I have thoughts. This is DK weight yarn, I think. It is DK weight yarn, so says the ball band. And I was looking at the Copperhead Tee, which is, it's a t-shirt with snakes for a yoke. I was looking at sizing this down to do for my niece because she wants a cobra. She wanted a cobra sweater. So apologies if I end up calling this the cobra sweater. But that's a separate story. But I was looking at this pattern and I'm like, I kind of want one for me. And I might have enough yarn in similar enough colors. If these are my snakes, can this be my contrast? Is that enough? Would I even like that? Do I even want it in those colors? I feel like I don't. I feel like maybe I want it in dark moody colors because snakes. Anyway, if anybody's got good DK weight sweater patterns, because I've got like 2 full skeins and maybe 2 more of partials, so something that can be faded would be great. And what to contain all these, I guess I'm going to put them back in this bag, which was intended to be a project bag that Jocelyn crocheted for me, but currently it's holding leftover yarn bag. It's the holding leftover not sock weight yarn bag. I don't even know. It's a little baggie of very tiny amounts of worsted weight. Got some yarn left over from the only other pair of fingerless mitts that I've ever made. They're not the Maiki weights. Those are the ones that Jocelyn made. I don't know. So there were some leftovers from fingerless gloves. This, I remember was from Cloud9 Fiberworks, and it went into a hat for my brother. Some ends that I don't really know what they're from. I really don't know what this green is from, but it's very pretty. Let's just stop you from unwinding yourself quite so badly. Remember that these were knit picks, and I had them for a reason. I don't know. And then apparently I have some country garden DK. I think somebody's grandmother passed away, and they're like, here, you knit, and I got a bunch of yarn and needles and stuff. As happens. It happens. Oh, I did a real size swatch for the flax. Look at me go. This could be a coaster if I ever wove in those ends, which is never gonna happen. Oh, here's more leftover yarn from the flax. An almost real size swatch for the flax. And then all of that yarn that I said was from the Ripper's Wrap. Which, oh, that's what that's left over from. That's the Ripper's Wrap yarn. And then a baby swatch for the flax. And that's an empty bag. Yay! We've got some black. We've got some green. I should really wind these better, but I'm not going to do that right now. We've got some brown and some gray. We've got some 2 different kinds of gray. 2 different kinds of gray. Oh my. Okay. Cool. And we have a decorative mitten that I don't really know what to do with. And a bunch of ball bands for stuff that I don't think is even in here anymore. And too bad if it is, to be honest. It's whatever. It's part of the joy of working stash, right? I don't know what this is. Let's see what it does. I don't know what to do with these, so they're gonna go on the swatch pile right now. Okay, but look at this glorious, I can make so many things out of all of my DK worsted and chunky ends. Oh my gosh. This is massive. This is so big. What am I doing not knitting with chunky yarn? I have so much chunky yarn. Oh, goodness. I've been wasting time. Okay, we're on to spinning. I have no idea how long this has been going for now, but we're on to spinning now. On the spinning wheel, my electric eel wheel, I think I pulled out once this year. Anyway, this is some Polwarth from Cloud9 Fiberworks. in Prospero? I think that's what the colorway name was. But it's like purple and dark blue and very moody, and it's, if I turn it around this way, it's making lovely yarn. Focus on the lovely yarn. Oh yeah, lighting's getting dodgy. Okay, but it's making some lovely yarn. And you know, honestly, I don't know why I don't do this more. I got nothing. I enjoy doing it. I think probably I just don't prioritize it. I have nothing bad to say about it. What do we got in here? Oh, in here I've got silk fluff. I know fluff is not the technical term. I have silk fluff that I was spinning on a drop spindle. It's a Scottish drop spindle called a Jelligan, which is spelled Dealgan because I don't know. What did I spin on this? Oh yeah, I think also this year, I finally finished spinning this, come on, this tiny little ball down here of silk. I have absolutely no idea what one does with like 3 grams of silk. I think it's actually 3 grams because there's roughly 5 colors in here, and the bag says it's 15 grams of silk. So I don't know what you do with 3 grams of silk, but I've spun it and it's pretty. Okay, that's the spinning I'm actively in progressing. There's so much theoretical spinning, but that's for another day. Let's put these back on the thing. It's those patterns I made for the kids' Harry Potter mitts that didn't pan out. Look at that. I charted that all out. Look at that. Look at that. It was gonna be so nice. I was excited about that. Maybe they'll become something yet. Apparently I have a cross-stitch drawer because it's got a cross-stitch kit, 2 embroidered patches that are iron-on, not even for sewing, and a failed mitten pattern in it. I obviously did not organize things. I obviously did not organize things at all whatsoever when I put them in here after we moved. Anyway, it says don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. I am a fan of rude words with cute flowers. That's where I'm at. I like the grandma aesthetic with a sort of strong FU overtones. Anyway, I'll try some cross-stitch eventually. Drawer of sewing. We have patterns. We have pajamas. I think I cut out the pattern pieces for this one. That was about how far I got. There's a skirt that I've done nothing with. There's a different skirt that I've done nothing with. There's a costumey bit with accompanying notes from Jocelyn. We were gonna make a costume. I think it was a Rapunzel-related costume. I legit do not remember what the plan actually was, because this was ages, like years ago. Oh, and then there's this long capey thing as well. Yep. I got nothing. I got nothing. I don't know what these were for, but I have pajamas and skirts. I know what those are for. Fabric, fabric, woo! Okay, so I've got this fabric that I bought this year with the intent of turning it into a maxi skirt. That obviously happened. I have this cotton poplin, I think, and just a nice coffee brown shade. Toffee brown, coffee brown, I don't know. It's a brown. And it was gonna be like maybe an A-line or a pleated skirt or something. That didn't happen. This is the fabric that I was gonna make the pajama pants out of. That's obviously happened. This is the fabric I initially bought along with those skirt patterns. I was gonna make myself a cute little A-line skirt for, not little, it was gonna be like knee length. It was gonna be an adorable A-line skirt for like a Christmas party like 3-4 years ago. Because Christmas parties are a thing that happen now. definitely work Christmas parties. That was my envisionment, was that I was going to wear it to a work Christmas party, but that's not a thing that we have anymore. At least for me, we're remote, so there's no in-person Christmas party. I could make a skirt and wear a skirt on a video call, but who's gonna see it? So there's kind of a lack of motivation. I've got interfacing. We've got leftover lace from... You know, I don't even know. I cannot remember. I think I had some leftover lace from my wedding dress, and there's some leftover purple ribbon from... I don't know if it was specifically for the Regency costume dress, but it went on the Regency costume dress. I don't remember if that's what it was initially for. And, oh, there's even more lace. Oh, it's stretchy lace. Who knows what to do with stretchy lace? Because I sure don't. I believe that is all active projects. It is also all of the theoretical projects for other crafts. So I will see you next week for part 3, which is all of the theoretical knitting projects, which is in a big bin in my closet. Come prepared with tea for the next one. Ooh. Right, don't forget to knit or something. God, I'm so useless without Jocelyn's audio cue. Oh gosh.